Majority Leader Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate proceed out of order for consideration of resolutions.
The motion is to proceed out of order for consideration of resolutions. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and that motion is adopted. We will proceed out of order. Consideration of resolutions. Will the clerk please read the title of Senate Joint Resolution 12?
Senate Joint Resolution 12, Senators Heisey and Henriksen, Representative Luck, concerning designating Colorado State Highway 115 from mile marker 15 to mile marker 27 as the Veterans of Foreign Wars Warriors Memorial Highway.
Senator Heisey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Joint Resolution 12, and I ask that it be read at length.
Will the clerk please read Senate Joint Resolution 12 at length?
Senate Joint Resolution 12 by Senators Heisey and Henriksen and Representative Luck, concerning designating Colorado State Highway 115 from mile marker 15 to mile marker 27 as the Veterans of Foreign Wars Warriors Memorial Highway. Whereas Colorado has a proud and distinguished history of dedicated military service by men and women of the state whose sacrifice, courage, and heroism preserve for past, present, and future generations the liberties and way of life within our democratic republic as set forth in our state and national constitutions, and whereas the state of Colorado significantly benefits from the presence and military service of more than 400,000 veterans, including their family members and survivors. Moreover, Colorado is home to more than 150,000 active duty men and women of the United States Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, and their reserves, and the Colorado National Guard. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize that Coloradans in all branches and components of the armed services selflessly serve around the world today to protect the security and peace of our nation and others, and whereas thousands of Coloradans have served in all branches of the United States Armed Forces during every major military engagement since the Civil War, including World Wars I and II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, Operation Desert Storm, and the War on Terror. And whereas enlisted Coloradans have been committed to fighting the spread of hate and authoritarianism throughout the world to protect the ideals of democracy and free thought, and whereas the freedom and liberties that the people of Colorado and of the United States enjoy today are due in great part to the military service of the men and women who serve their country with honor and dignity, and we should remember the legacy of their courage and selfless sacrifice. And whereas Colorado is the proud home to and beneficiary of more than 400,000 military veterans who have served their country long and well and bring great honor and distinction to the state, and whereas the forefathers of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW, were two smaller veteran groups, the American Veterans of Foreign Service and the National Society of the Army of the Philippines, which formed independently in 1899, but then merged to form the Veterans of Foreign Wars in 1914. These first veterans groups were formed as local organizations after the Spanish-American War and the Philippine-American War, respectively, to secure veterans the rights and benefits for their service, as many had arrived home, wounded or sick. In those days, there was no Department of Veterans Affairs Administration, care, or pensions for the medically retired. These organizations enabled veterans to care for and help each other with the transition from battlefield to normal life. And whereas the first VFW chapters were formed in Colorado, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, of the three posts that claimed to be the first, the VFW National Organization recognizes the Colorado Post as being the first. It is now officially designated as VFW Post 1. By 1915, membership grew to 5,000. By 1936, when it became a government-chartered nonprofit organization, membership was almost 200,000. Today, membership stands at around 1.4 million. And whereas to be a member of the VFW, an individual must be a United States citizen or national with an honorable discharge from the United States military or currently be serving in the United States Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, or Coast Guard, membership also requires military service overseas during an operation or conflict and decoration with an Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal or a campaign medal or ribbon. And whereas the VFW has extended beyond the realm of simply being an organization of veterans helping fellow veterans, From its beginnings of providing financial, social, and emotional support to members of the United States Armed Forces, veterans, and their dependents, the VFW has become a leader in community involvement in areas such as mentoring youth groups, helping in community food kitchens, and volunteering in blood drives and other civic volunteerism. And whereas Veterans and Foreign Wars Colorado Department Commander Earl Haven approved and signed the first State of Colorado VFW Warriors Motorcycle Organization policy on March 18, 2007, and whereas on November 18, 2010, Veterans of Foreign Wars National Commander Richard L. Eubank approved the official name for the Colorado VFW Warriors Motorcycle Organization after approval of the General Committee through Resolution 108, dated August 11, 2010. And whereas the mission of the VFW Warriors Motorcycle Organization is to promote the VFW Colorado missions, develop membership growth for the organization, increase community awareness, promote interest in various forms of motorcycle activities that foster camaraderie among its members, encourage a better understanding of motorcycle riding as a constructive activity among the members of the VFW, its auxiliary, and the public, promote motorcycle safety programs, and provide a social atmosphere for the VFW and its auxiliary who share the same interests, and whereas money raised during motorcycle fundraising events that are sponsored by the VFW Warriors Motorcycle Organization, such as the Run for the Wall annual motorcycle ride from California to Washington, D.C., that has 30,000 riders passing through Colorado, has supported veterans organizations, facilities, causes, and charities that directly benefit veterans, their families, and their survivors. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 73rd General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, 1, that we, the members of the Colorado General Assembly, extend our heartfelt gratitude to our state's veterans, past and present, and to all military men and women currently serving in the armed services, and encourage the citizens of Colorado to honor the thousands of fellow citizens who have served in uniform in order to protect and serve their community, state, and country. 2, that the portion of Colorado State Highway 115 in Fremont County from mile marker 15 to mile marker 27 be designated as the Veterans of Foreign Wars Warriors Memorial Highway. 3, that the Colorado Department of Transportation may accept and expend gifts, grants, and donations for the purposes of the initial placement of signs to mark Colorado State Highway 115 in Fremont County from mile marker 15 to mile marker 27 as the Veterans of Foreign Wars Warriors Memorial Highway. 4, that the Colorado Department of Transportation may explore a cooperative agreement with the Board of County Commissioners for Fremont County for the maintenance of the signs marking the Veterans of Foreign Wars Warriors Memorial Highway. Be it further resolved that copies of this joint resolution be sent to VFW Commander-in-Chief Matthew Middlevic, VFW Colorado State Commander Barbara Green, the United States Veterans Coalition of Colorado, and the Colorado Department of Military and Veterans Affairs.
Senator Heisey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, please be seated. That was the short version of what could have been written. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to be able to bring this resolution with my co-sponsor. VFW plays such an important role in the lives of veterans as they come back and transition into civilian life again. And it seems, I have to confess, I am not a veteran. I really, really appreciate all that our veterans have done through the years, all ages, to preserve this way of life and this form of government we have, and the privileges and the freedoms that I have personally. So thank you very much. But thank you for all that the VFW does for its members throughout their entire lives.
Senator Henriksen.
Thank you, Mr. President. The words brothers and sisters in arms get thrown about frequently, but it is a fitting terminology. For those who have served in armed conflict, there is a fraternity or sorority that immediately immediately begins, one that you can only join through experience, and it changes who you are as a person, and it stays with you throughout your life. And it's an experience that can only be shared, and an understanding that can only be shared with those who have had that same experience. And so VFW is an organization that is so incredibly important to the full life of our veterans, and also for the communities in which our veterans live, as they continue to give a sense of purpose and a sense of community service, the very reasons why people take the oath to serve in our armed forces to begin with. I am grateful for all that the VFW is to our communities and to our state, and am honored to be able to bring this resolution with you, Senator. I ask that I renew our call for the passage of the approval of Senate Joint Resolution 12 and ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion. Senator Rankin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I feel a special obligation to stand up and support the resolution. I'm sure the only one of us old enough to have served during the Vietnam War. And, when our fellow soldiers came home, they weren't always recognized as well as hopefully we're doing today. And the VFW is so important in the lives of so many of those veterans, and there's some with us today. So just a special thanks for the people I served with and people of that era.
Further discussion on Senate Joint Resolution 12. Seeing none, the motion is the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 12. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Joint Resolution 12 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Henriksen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that the current roll be added as co-sponsors.
Seeing no objection, the current roll call will be added as a co-sponsor to Senate Joint Resolution 12. Thank you, Senators. Senator Heisey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask for a brief recess to greet our guest.
The Senate will stand in a brief recess to greet our guests.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you, sir. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you, sir. Was that you crying that I heard? No. No, not crying. Just a dog. Not a dog. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thanks. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Next, a pleasure, man. Hey, sir. Let's do two things. How are you, sir? I'm good. How are you? Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. And whenever we get a chance to do the photo, I've got to figure out how to do that.
Okay. We can do the picture up here, but the president wants us to get going. Get rolling. So who's got a camera and we'll give it to the sergeant?
He was up top.
Hey, I'm guessing we got some riders here.
So who has the camera?
Shoot me a text or whatever when you're riding.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Well, I can't make this Saturday. Virginia, but text me the next time. I'll jump on. Paul London's actually. Okay.
3 days down in Kansas City. I'll make sure you
Let me know. Would love to know about it. Thanks, guys.
guys.
Thank you for coming today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your support. Absolutely.
So are we doing?
Coming up?
Sure, if you want me.
Oh, follow him. Yep. Hi, Steve. Good to see you. We're just talking about Tom Reed and Willis Rage. He's a wonderful guy. Character. He is. Yeah. He's one of the great original. He's one of the original characters. You know, he did this book County Republican Party forever. Yeah, forever and a day. That probably 1970 all the way until 2000. He is great. Well, let us know what we can do. Definitely. Yeah, I understand. Hooked up with Larry. Larry's been very helpful. I know we're trying to get on with somebody who's I don't know if mentor is the right word. Sounding. That's perfect, and he's been wonderful. Whenever I reach out, he's always connect me with the right people. Yeah, good to see that.